Jai Masters. There's a certain thing that's going on inside of everybody that I assure you they don't pay attention to because they don't want to. It is, in truth, the essence of what you don't want. But it's going on inside of you. It's going on inside of everybody. Rich, poor, strong, weak, male, female, young, old, no matter. And the truth of the matter is, you are at all times running away from that. You don't realize it because you're doing pretty good, perhaps. But you are running. You are running. There are things that have to happen for you to get away from that darkness inside, to get away from that fear. It's a primal fear. It's a very, very deep fear that you'll be rejected, that you'll fail, that it's just not going to work, and you'll be left with yourself. You'll be left with something inside that is not comfortable to be left with. We all feel discomfort inside, but we feel the discomfort of not succeeding in staying away from the discomfort. That's what it boils down to. Because there is darkness in there, and you know it, and there's a deep hole in there, and you don't want to fall in. In fact, you don't want to get close to it. So you build a structure outside of it. You build a structure that can support you so that you don't fall back, so you don't fall in. And every single thing that every single human being is doing and has ever done is an attempt to stay away from that. But aren't some people weaker than others? Those who appear to be the most strong are the ones that have to stay away from that. And they build very strong structures and very strong egos and very strong finances and very strong insurance and very strong buildings and very strong relationships. Why? Because they have to. They have to. You've heard the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's why. Because they do not know what's going on inside, and they do not want to know what's going on inside. I mean, they face it sometimes in the dark at night, and when things don't go well. So the money didn't do much, did it? The power didn't do much. The prestige didn't do much. Why? Because it can go away, can't it? Can money go away? Can prestige go away? Can acceptance go away? Guess what? You know that. And so do they. And so this attempt to stay away from that, like that's scary enough, that you know it can go away. Can a relationship fall apart? I don't want that to happen, do we? And so we do every single thing we can to try and not fall back into what you know could be going on in there. Unless you're a yogi. Then you saw something that very, 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 very few people have ever seen. That is, there's another side to that fear. There's another side to that fear and darkness, but you don't want to go near. Maybe you took a deep meditation. Maybe something happened. I've had people tell me that terrible, terrible things happen, and somehow they got, I call it grace, I don't know what you call it, but they got lifted past that part of them, and they felt a peace. The Bible calls it a peace that passeth all understanding. It's not hard to feel peace when you're getting what you want. I was concerned, now my business did well, I'm peaceful again. No, you're not. That statement, the peace that passes all understanding, that's very, very deep. And what it means is, there's a place inside of you that is on the other side of that fear. That's on the other side of that darkness, but you won't go near it. I hope you're listening to me. I'm not sitting here being a life coach teaching you how to be okay. I'm talking about why you need to be taught to be okay. If you're okay, you don't need to be taught to be okay. You're obviously not okay if you're busy trying to be okay. Anybody busy trying to be okay? Everybody busy trying to make sure it doesn't fall apart? Everybody busy trying to build, hold it together, build on this relationship, build on this finance, build on this business, build on this respect from other people, build on this, build. Why? What are you building on top of? Maybe that's what Christ meant when he said, don't build your house on sand. I tell you something, the deeper you go, the more the Christ's teachings mean everything. You understand what he was talking about. I mean, that statement, don't build your house on sand, That's what we have done, I tell you right now, okay? Because that structure, you're not talking about your outside house. Hey, I was a builder. Sure, don't build on clay. No, he's talking about your inside house. You build in there, don't you? Your self-concept, your views, your opinions, your preferences, your hopes, your dreams, your concepts, every single thing you're building in there to try to be okay. Why are you doing that? Because it's scary in there, and you don't want to go there. Then you have built your house on sand. Does that make sense to you? It's very, very, very special to talk this deep. Who's willing to talk this deep? Nobody. Why? Because I'm not okay. And I want things outside to support what I built inside. Don't you? What happens if you don't? I asked this question once, and I was very surprised how many of you were very honest. Has it ever fallen apart? Have any of you ever had a relationship breakup, finance breakup, somebody died, something happened, and it fell apart? And it wouldn't support you anymore. And you're just floating, lost. What does that tell you? It can fall apart. It's telling you built your house on sand. The foundation was not strong enough to handle whatever event took place. That's because you built on top of that. There's a chapter in the Untitled Soul called Letting Go of False Solidity. Whoa. That's what we just talked about, isn't it? Letting go of false solidity. It's not solid in there, and you know it's not solid in there. You can go to sleep and have a dream and wake up freaked out. You can read a book and read it and be freaked out. You can see someone you care about, like your significant other, read a book and be afraid what they're going to get from the book. You can have somebody be on a phone call for 5 minutes longer late at night than you feel real comfortable with and wonder what's going on and not be comfortable. So it doesn't have to fall apart, but you do have to keep it going, don't you? You have to build that structure and watch it and maintain it and so on. Somebody once gave a talk and once said, the ego is a wall that you use to protect yourself. The events of life can knock a hole in that wall, can't they? And you patch it up as fast as you can. You use rationalization. Say you're sorry. Did you really mean that? No, you don't want to tell me you meant that. I'm leaving. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. It's not okay. What were you avoiding that was going on inside that you could not handle? And so that's what we're talking about tonight. There's something in there, like I said. Spirituality is not about getting what you want. It's about asking, I'm sitting in a plant spill north for a few years. Why do I need all these things? Why am I struggling? Why am I trying to get all this stuff? Why does it need to be a certain way for me to be okay? That is spirituality. Not how to get it the way I need it to be okay. That is not spirituality. Nothing wrong with it. Like I use the word worldliness. I don't use it with any disdain or negativity. That's ridiculous. It means you think the answer is in the world. I'm not okay, and I think I need to get things a certain way out there to support my structure. That's worldliness. It's fine. It's not wrong. It's not anything. Don't you dare think I'm saying not to do it or anything. I just thought we might want to talk about it. That's all. It's just a gentle little discussion, all right? And basically, you're going out into the world, and there's no exception. You're going into the world. Relationships, finance, success, respect, etc., etc., etc. Control. Anybody have control issues? You have control issues outside. Why? Because you're not okay inside. Why do you need to control anything? Because you're not okay, and they need to be a certain way for you to be okay. You're building and maintaining that structure. A deep being, a very deep spiritual being, has found out, yes, that's scary in there, isn't it? And we do everything to stay away from it. Like I have people tell me, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I have a wonderful spouse. I have a beautiful house. I got a good business, nice car. Okay. I just ask you a simple question, since you're okay. Get in your nice car from your nice business and drive to your nice house, and it's not there. I don't mean it blew up or burned down. It's not there. It was never there. There's other houses there. Okay, we drive back, take a look at the street, shake your head a few times, stop smoking what you were smoking, and or drinking what you were drinking, and move on down there, and it's literally not there. How you doing? But you just told me you don't have any fear. You told me you're fine. Go knock on the neighbor's door. Who are you? Well, you know who I am. I do not. Get off my property. How long does it have to go before you're gone? Now are you okay? No. You are conditionally okay. As long as what I built in my structure inside to keep me out of that dark spot, out of that fear, there's no word for it, it's beyond fear, isn't it? Panic, okay? To take me out of that panic, as long as I can maintain that structure, but in order to maintain the structure, it has to support it outside, doesn't it? And if it doesn't, now tell me you're okay. It doesn't take much. It doesn't even take anything near what I said. All it takes is some little thing for you to think, oh my God, this isn't going right. How you doing? Anxiety, pressure, everything comes up. It's unbelievable. I want to talk about that. I don't want to teach you how to run from that. Everybody else will. It's fine. It's fine. Really, I'm telling you the truth. It's fine. I just want you to understand there's something deeper going on inside of you. There is something on the other side of that. But boy, how are you going to get there? And you know what they say. You got to pass through to get to the other side. All right? I'll quote Yoda. Yoda's a very good guru for me, right? You remember, I think it was the first Star Wars thing or whatever it was, and Luke's on the island with Yoda, and I want to get the whole thing, and Yoda says, you got to walk into this cave. And Luke turned around, and he said, okay, I'll walk in the cave, I'm a Jedi. And he turned around to Yoda, and he said, well, what's in there? Who remembers what he said? Nothing that you don't bring in there with you. That's what's in there, isn't it? All right? What's in there is what you have been running from your whole life. And then what do you do with things that don't support that? Freud said, so you suppress them. You push them away. They don't go away. You didn't handle them. You don't want to handle them. They don't support. What do you do with something that does not support your structure? You either rationalize it, you just push it away, cope with it, and you're just building this thing inside. It's called your self-concept. It's called that which your mind built because you're not okay. How's that? That which you built inside because you're not okay. And you're trying to build a structure. This is my husband, this is my wife, this is my kid, and they get A's, and they're not doing drugs, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You just built this whole world that supports the structure you built of the way it needs to be for you not to fall in that hole. And that is your self-concept. And your concept is projected outside into the world for support. You do everything you can to support your self-concept, don't you? And that's what the house is, what the car is, what the spouse is, what the school is, what this is, what that is. My kid went to Harvard. What's the difference what school your kid went to? They went to what school they went to. No. My self-concept is that my child went to Harvard or Yale. So somehow, by them not getting into those schools, it hurt me. How can that hurt you? It's nice that they go to school. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? Who are you to say what the kid should be doing? You want to use it for your self-concept. So basically, we've laid the groundwork, and I know you understand what I'm talking about. So the point is, you can do that, and by the way, you will do that. You understand that? This is not going to change overnight. Don't even try, don't even think about it. Just listen and understand on the other side of the core fear. I'm not talking about these little fears. I'm not talking about not getting what you want. I'm talking about why you want it. There's a reason you need things, and you go way down there, and you'll see there's one reason why you need anything, and that is you're not okay. You're lost. And you built this structure out there, and you try to get it supported by everybody and everything. Somebody looks at you the wrong way, you have a bad day. Well, then these days are tough. There's a reason that you have these needs. There's a reason that you're projecting. There's a reason you're very busy doing what you're doing. And that is, it's not okay in there from where you sit. Your consciousness, your awareness sits with that is pushed behind me. I don't want to deal with that. You know, suppression, that's the epitome of suppression. That's complete denial. I don't even know enough about it to deny it. I ain't getting close to that sucker. No way in the world I'm going there. And so you stay at a distance. It's still there. You know it's still there because something happens and you feel that panic. You feel that fear. I don't want you to live like that. I like you. Guess what I know? You don't have to live like that. Period. And it's free of charge, and it doesn't take anything, and it has nothing to do with the outside world. Your inside has nothing to do with the outside world. You made it have something to do with it because you said, I'm only okay if you like me. I'm only okay if you do this. I'm only okay if... You projected your not okayness into the outside world and said, if it will be the way I want it to be, I'll be okay. Good luck. The outside world, the earth exists 4.5 billion years. How long have you been here? And you think it's supposed to unfold the way you want. Why? Because it hurts if it doesn't. Good. That's very good logic. And you're quite the scientist. I want this experiment to come out the way I said it would. Why? Because I want prestige and I want people to like me. I'll fudge the numbers a little bit. It's like you projected your problems onto the outside world and made them be the attempted solution. Otherwise, it's going on inside of you, and you don't know it, and you do know it. If I talk to you about it, you know. But no one will talk to you like this. They'll teach you how to cope. They'll teach you how to, well, listen, you can't have everything. You got to learn to be happy with a few things that you get, and just tolerate the rest. Okay? Not an understanding. You do not have to cope with anything. You do not have to put up with that being inside of you. Period. You do not have to put up with that being inside of you. There is another side to that. But to go there, you have to really want to. You have to be willing to face the music. You have to be willing. But not all at once. Don't worry. I'm going to quote you something. And I don't read the Bible. I told you once. I want to get this straight. I never read the Old Testament, and I'm Jewish, I'm in trouble. I pick up some things, but I never read the Old Testament. And I read the New Testament once in 1971. But as I grow, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. There's a line in the Old Testament. I once was getting ready for the Passover service. I like to come up with something new. And I was with my daughter, Durga, she was younger. And we were just going through some of the texts. And I came across the fall from the garden. And we can talk about that. And I've talked about what it really means. But the part that just blew me away, it said, and once man was thrown out of the garden, God took a cherubim, an angel, took a cherubim with a flaming sword and put it at the east gate of the garden, lest man manage to get back in and eat of the tree of eternal life as he ate of the tree of knowledge. Whoa, that's far out. You want to know what? That thing we've been talking about in there, that's the cherubim. You're not going back in that garden if you can't pass through that. God does not have to create fearful things. Why don't we just put fear there? You ain't going there, are you? And why would I say that meant the fall? Because if you've gone deep, you've been to the other side of that. And anyone that's been to the other side of that, anyone, all the great ones, there were those who got to the other side and didn't come back, just became fully enlightened. That's what it means, by the way, to wake up. You're going to call it self-realization. You are not out here as an ego on the other side of that flaming sword. You are inside, still in the garden, but afraid to go back. Afraid to go back into that, okay? Beings have gone back, and you have perhaps had moments in your life that were overwhelmingly ecstatic. There's something very great inside of you. One of the greatest things that Christ said over and over and over again was, the kingdom is within you. What does that mean? It means the kingdom is within you. It is within you. And literally not just within you, within you. When I ask you, are you in there? You all say, yes, that's the you that the kingdom is within. It is the nature of your consciousness, of your being. Baba Munanda said, meditate on the self, the one who's watching, not what it's watching, the consciousness, the self. Meditate on the self. Honor and worship your own being. God dwells within you as you. Mayor Baba said, man minus mind equals God. In other words, you're on the wrong side of the fence. You get to the other side of you, it is nirvana. That's where Buddha went. That's where Christ went. That's what's meant by my Father and I are one. That's what's meant as the rush of holy waters. That's what's meant by man does not live by bread alone, meaning the outside world, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. In other words, there's gold in there. If you can get back to the other side of you, of that little you, there's no words. That's what yoga is about. Yoga means union, merger. Merger of the individual self with the source of the individual self. How about that? They say Atman and Paramama. Those are words. Don't talk about words. I'm not into philosophy. Your consciousness has a source. Everything has a source. It came from somewhere. And you are conscious, aren't you? You watch your thoughts. You feel your emotions. You look out at the world. Who does? You do. You are on the other side of that. That's how close you are. Somebody once asked Yogananda, a fully enlightened master, I want to know God. Master, I want to know God. He just turned on nonchalantly and he said, he dwells right behind your every thought. Okay? What dwells right behind every thought? The consciousness that experienced the thought. You do know you had a thought, don't you? Who knows that? You know that. The kingdom is within you. How do I get this across to you? You are it. Again, what did Christ say? As I sit by the throne of my Father, it is a state of consciousness, the throne of my Father. As I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne. And these things that I do, you shall do these and even greater things. It's the truth. Your consciousness, you're the greatest thing that ever was. But when you came down, I told you this the other day, we talked, that explains all this. When the consciousness, the self, the soul, drops down into the body is rather distracting. It has all kinds of pains and fears and sorrow, this and all kinds of stuff. And then the world comes in through the senses. Oh my God, sight, sound, touch, smell. You don't stand a chance. Your consciousness gets distracted by all of this and you lose your sense of self. Do you understand that? It's not something you did wrong. It's not a sin. It's the fact that you're conscious and you're filled with joy and love and beauty, and you drop down, your awareness drops down. By the way, it does not drop down into the body. Do I have to go to that picture to see it? I'm asking you a question. Do I have to go to that picture to see it? No, my consciousness can stay where I am and project itself onto the picture. Does the sun have to come down on Earth in order for there to be light? It stays 93 million miles away. It sits out there all the time. Don't go nowheres. It just sits out there. But it emanates its being, its light, its essence from where it sits. Your consciousness did not enter the body. It's in your body and it'll leave when you die. It was never in your body. It's just looking at it. Just like I can look at that picture or look at this room. Your consciousness is in the source of consciousness. Where else could it be? It's in the source of consciousness, staring at your mind, your heart, your body, and the world coming in through your senses. And staring's a mild word compared to what's going on. How about fixated? How about addicted? You can't not do it. How you like that? Are you conscious? Yes. Well, stop looking at your body. Stop looking at your thoughts. Stop getting all involved with your stupid emotions. They're just things, aren't they? They're things that come up out of your heart. Thoughts are things that come up out of your mind. Then there's things that come in through your senses. So what? You're a tiny little planet. I told you that. I can't help but telling you that. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. And you're on one of the little dinky things spinning around in one spot. And you care what the heck's going on? There's only one reason you care. Because you got lost when you dropped down here. And you completely forgot who you are and where you came from. Not even close. It drew all of your attention, all of your awareness down to your senses, to the world, and so on. And you're trying to be okay. And that's why it's scary in there. It's because you're lost. And you're trying to find yourself. You're just looking in the wrong direction. You're looking down, and all this lost is going on, and you're out there grabbing to try and define yourself. That's what your self-concept is. And you will never succeed. No one has ever succeeded. Because it can't. It's a false self you built. And the fact that you can get what a strong, successful person does is get support for the false self they built. All right. So the self, the consciousness, gets distracted. I don't want to say fell down. It gets distracted from where it's sitting. You don't have to go anywhere. Your consciousness gets drawn down there, and then it becomes fixated on it. And you get fixated on the tiniest little things. I want to have this kind of relationship. By the time I'm 26 years old, before that I want to travel. And then when I'm 26, I have a child because, start getting older and it's past the biological clock. You're 10 years old thinking these things. What is the matter with you? What you're doing is saying I'm not okay. I'm a 10-year-old's mind, and I'm projecting my future. I'm going to lay it all out. What has to happen for me to be okay? And if that happens, I have the right husband, right this, and everything better happen right. I better not be able to get pregnant, and it better not, he don't want to or she don't want to. There are so many things that can change that I forgot to think about. And that's true of every single one of you, every single second. All right. So you eventually get to the point where you say, I can't be really okay that way. I can be relatively okay, what we call conditionally okay. If everyone behaves, everything goes the way it's supposed to be, the way I figured it, I can be conditionally okay, but I have to struggle, don't I? You wonder why there's anxiety? That's why there's anxiety. Because I need things to be a certain way for me to feel okay, for me to feel, and that's funny, it's okay. Listen to what I said. You're not okay. Why? Because you lost yourself. You lost your sense of self. You happen to be being of great love and great light and merged with God. You're the highest thing I walk the face of the earth. You're infinite. You're eternal. You're just consciousness. You're the greatest thing that ever was. But you're staring at something that, oh my God, it's got nothing but trouble. What does Shakespeare say? Hamlet. The heartache and thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. You know something about that, don't you? Right? And so you've been distracted by it, and you don't even know that you're distracted by it. It's so intense, the deep inner fear, the lostness, that all you want to do is be okay. And so you're out there grabbing and fighting and pulling and inside figuring things out and trying to have your mind figure what needs to happen and how do I get it. And you're very, very, very busy all the time. I'm telling you, there's no way out that way. There's no way out that way because you're not okay. And what is driving all of that is you don't want to not be okay, but you're not fixing not being okay. You're hiding from it. You're building your house on sand. You're building this structure and then trying to have everybody support it. Would you like to not have to do that for the rest of your life? Would you like to be so filled with love that you can't even see straight? You want to feel love? Wave your hand across your heart. It'll come flying out of your heart anytime you want, all the time, no matter what's going on. If somebody's yelling at you, wave your hand across your heart, all the love comes in. It's unconditional. It is your natural state of being. You don't need anyone to feel love. You are love. But how come I need somebody? Because they distract you from yourself. They entertain you. I like what you look like, and I like how you talk, and I like to be with you. In other words, I'm not with me when I'm with you. And if I'm with me when I'm with you, I'm going somewhere else. I mean, there's no such thing as loving somebody and then not loving them, right? No one's ever heard of such a thing, right? 50% of all marriages in the United States of America end up in divorce. Why? Because you're trying to use the other person to escape from yourself, to support you, to structure you, to do everything. There's that classic thing where at the party and you said something and it was wrong, all right? But your friends are saying, oh, that's wrong. And your husband or wife is standing there. They better support you or there'll be hell when you get home, isn't it? You left me hanging there. I know I wasn't right, but so what? You could have supported me. That's what you call a relationship. I'm not okay. I built a structure to make me be okay, and you better support that. And I'll do that for you too. In other words, we'll just stay lost. Spirituality says, I don't have to be like that. I am whole and complete within myself, but I've gotten lost. I can get found. That's what's nice about lost. If you know you're lost, you got somewhere. If you don't know you're lost, you're just running like the hamster on the little wheel. You ain't going nowhere. But if I like that hamster, stop for a second. Oh, I've been doing this forever, man. So is everybody else in the pet store. Look at them run. There's got to be another way, man. And he or she jumps off the wheel. Where do you go? I don't know, but I know that ain't taking me nowhere. That's called wisdom, by the way. Wisdom is not that you know where you're going. It has nothing to do with beliefs. It has to do with, you know what I know? This doesn't work. If I've been doing the same thing every day of my life, running, building, trying to be okay, and I'm still doing it, at what point do you realize, it probably don't work? So it's always something, wasn't it, that you're running toward? Well, if you're still running, at what point do you realize you're the hamster? And every other hamster's doing the same thing. They don't go anywhere. So if you get off the wheel, there's at least a possibility of finding something. There's no possibility if you stay on the wheel. So that is what spirituality is. But it doesn't mean not getting married. It doesn't mean not having children. It doesn't mean that you don't do things that are natural in life. It just means you don't believe that that's the answer. How many people have gotten married? Are they in ecstasy? Really, all of them are in ecstasy, right? How many people have had children? Is it the end of all fulfillment and everything's wonderful? We don't need anything else for the rest of our lives? How many people got all A's in school? Maybe some, right? Or did really well in school. That did it, right? That did 1,600 in your SATs. There it is, man. You better tell everybody because it doesn't mean anything. Who's going to wake up? That's all I can ask you to do is wake up. You do not have to stay on that wheel. But that doesn't mean you're renouncing life. That doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with what goes on outside. There's no, I should be doing this, you shouldn't be doing it. No, don't do that. That's causing more trouble inside. You have to understand, okay, I understand. I'm not okay, and if I have money, I feel better, and if I have a spouse, I feel better, and if the kids are doing well, okay. And if they're not, I don't. Okay, notice. That's witness consciousness. It is not about not doing or doing. It's about, are you ready to get off that wheel? Simon says, take a giant step back and notice. That's all. I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to know it yourself. Just take a step back and notice what your day is like. And notice your fears and your insecurities and your prides and your this and your that. It's like a yo-yo, isn't it? Okay, it's just all the time, all over the place. Somebody says one word, you're not having trouble. You're having trouble. Somebody says another word, you're feeling good. Then they said, I was just kidding, you're not having trouble again. I don't know. All I know is it's the truth. When I can sit down and every single talk I give lately talks about how the driver in front of you screws you up, and every one of you agree, we got problems. I'm sitting on a little planet spinning around little nowheres. 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun, and there's 300 billion stars in your galaxy, and there's 2 trillion galaxies, and you're freaking out about how the driver in front of you drives. Come on, man. Speed limit. Look, it's 5. You're going 5 miles an hour the speed limit, right? Right. Don't stop for that light. We could have gone through his yellow. And don't blush. I do it too. All right? And you start noticing, I'm not going to be okay. This will never be okay. Every light has to be the way every driver has to be. Every person has to be. Every word has to be. The rain has to be. Every single thing has to be the way I want for me to be okay. How about you? Otherwise, it can get really weird in there, can't it? Okay. That is what I'm asking. And then I want you to understand, because we went very deep to start with, the reason it's that way is you are running away from yourself. And you have defined what needs to happen for you to be able to run away from yourself inside. You're running away from that fear. You're running away from that insecurity. You're running from that deep sense of panic of, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who I am. Well, if you don't know who you are, instead of running outside and defining somebody and trying to have everybody accept it, why don't you find out who you are? That's spirituality. And you start noticing, I don't have to be like this. That's your starting. What do you mean? I've never won by running after all this stuff and trying to make everything be exactly the way I want. It never is. And even if it is, I know it won't stay. And so I'm clinging or grabbing or resisting and fighting and struggling. Cool it. How? I've taught you that. The new book does that. We're much deeper than the other ones. And some people get it. Which is what? Don't start, believe me, certainly don't start with that burning cherubim in there. Don't go near that, all right? Because you won't anyways. Don't worry about it. Sorry I told you about it. I just want you to understand what's going on in there. Start with the small stuff. I beg you to listen once. You don't go out there and try to change everything and do this or do that or face this or that. No. When you want to play the piano, you start with the scales. You don't start with Beethoven or Mozart. When you want to play tennis, you get a ball pitcher thing or a coach. You don't start with, Borg and the Williams sisters. They don't do very good. It's the same thing here. If you want out, and you listen to me, you can get out. But you don't understand. Yes, I do understand. I understand all the problems. I understand. It's not that I don't have compassion for it. I do have compassion. I don't want you out. You hear me? I don't want you to have to suffer because the world is the way it is or because you had situations in the past that were really bad. I know. Don't tell me I don't have compassion. You know who doesn't have compassion? I agree with you. My mother did that to me too. When 30 years ago, when did your mother do it? That person doesn't have compassion. That's called sympathy. In other words, I support that you're screwed up about what happened 30 years ago. I am too. Let's be friends. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because if the alternative is suppression, I'd rather have you doing that. But you guys are out here, and we're going to have a talk once, 1 hour in your life about reality and what can go on. You don't want that going on in there. You want to let go of whatever you can that's causing you to keep running away from yourself. How? By facing it. But you can't face it all. No. Start with the scales. I beg you, start with the stuff that is so small that if you wanted to, you could handle it. You went to the hairdresser, and somebody once told me, it was about 1/4 of an inch shorter than I wanted it to be. And I started to freak. Okay. Shh. You can handle that. You can handle that. It's okay. It'll grow back. And by the way, maybe it's nice 1/4 inch. If you did that and you started freaking out, and somebody walked in and said, oh my God, who did your hair? That's phenomenal. It's just the exact right length. All of a sudden you like it. Yes or no? Tell me the truth. Don't be such a weird person. If you can't handle that, you can't go near that cherub. I'm going to tell you right now. We got to start doing the scales. We got to start practicing hitting the ball, all right? You got to start somewheres. Start with the things. The new book says that the moment in front of you is not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. The fact that your hair is not exactly the way you want it to be is not bothering you. It's not bothering anything. You're bothering yourself about it. And if you didn't bother yourself about it, it wouldn't bother you. I call that low-hanging fruit. If the only reason it bothers you because you said it did, maybe you shouldn't say it bothers you. You're making it up. The driver in front of you is driving the way they're driving. How do you know? Because they're in front of you. Is it okay to pass? Yes, if it's safe to pass, but not I'm angry and I got to put up with this, right? You wait until it's safe to pass. And normally in 3 blocks, they turn off anyways. Did you freak yourself out and bother yourself about their driving for 3 blocks? Do you have to do that? Or can you get off that little hamster wheel? I dare you to take that on as your job every day. I'm going to stop bothering myself about the things that I don't need to bother myself. You can still bother yourself with the things that you want to. But if you're the witness and you're noticing, check it out. Is this worth getting upset over? And you know what you're going to find out most of the time? No. Have you been getting upset about everything? The weather? If I want to go camping tomorrow and it's cloudy tonight, I have a bad night. Not to mention the morning. Well, so big deal. The camping's not going to make up for how you bothered yourself. That's what's so funny. You bothered yourself so much about it for 2 weeks. Check the weather forecast every single. There's no way the event is going to be greater than how much trouble you caused yourself. And plus, it didn't change the weather. Nothing you did changed the weather. It just changed your mind. And so you wake up. That's what it means to work with your mind. Not, I'll shut up my mind, I'm meditating. Yes, it's good to work with yourself. I always say that. I don't teach meditation. I meditate, but I don't teach meditation. Why? I want to teach you what to do when you're not meditating. That's, to me, much more important. It's a much bigger time frame. You don't need to bother yourself. Stop bothering yourself about these little things that don't mean anything. Wait till you see what happens to your life. You know what happened? You won't be as bothered. You stop bothering yourself about the weather, about the driver in front of you, about what somebody said 30 years ago. Are there things that happened 30 years ago that still bother you if you think about them? And even if you don't think about them, they bother you anyways. Well, that's irrational. It's not happening anymore. It should not be bothering you. You start being a little disciplined in there about things that you can do to help yourself. And it's not that hard. And if you will do it with the simple things, you're going to find out tomorrow you can do it with something bigger. And then bigger. Why? Because you're learning to play the piano. You can learn, can't you? You learn all kinds of things. Why don't you learn not to bother yourself? That would be a very great thing. And what will happen is you're going to find out that now something a little bit bigger happens. You call out to Sally, Sally, hey, how you doing? And she keeps walking. Oh, now that's big. I told you, there's 8.5 billion people on the earth. They didn't say hello either. Why do you get all the time with one person? None of them said hello. Just like you catch yourself getting insecure. And why'd she reject? Why'd she do that? You'll find out. If there's a problem, believe me, you'll find out. You don't need to make it up in your mind and try to figure out everything, right, until you're neurotic. You can't handle anything. So next thing you know, that happens, and you start to see yourself do that. But wait, how do you handle it when it doesn't feel right? You relax. You relax. What do you mean? To get uptight, you have to get uptight. If you relax, you can't get uptight. You don't tell the part of you that's getting uptight to relax. You relax. You who notices he can't handle the light change. He can't handle that it's starting to rain. He can't handle that somebody didn't say hello. He can't handle the thought that maybe somebody won't say hello when he says hello. And you start realizing this is a no-win situation. Relax. So you say, what do I do? What do I do? Relax. Always the answer. Every single time. Relax. You in there, relax. Then there's this mantra you can use if you want to. If you're having trouble relaxing. I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle this. Imagine if every single time something started to get weird inside, you said, I can handle this. I can handle this. Because you can. Just don't not handle it. And you just relax through it and keep relaxing. And next thing something bigger happens and bigger. And eventually you'll get to the point where you realize, I am okay. I can actually handle things. I learned how to handle things. And I would rather handle them than not handle them. Because what happens when I don't handle them, I make a royal mess of myself and everybody else. And if I can handle it, there's no mess. It's just a little bit of a prick and it's not comfortable for a moment. Goodbye. And you don't have to do the big stuff. I don't want you to do the big stuff. I don't want you to think, but make it, no, I understand. You're welcome to have that stuff for now. But if you'll do this, I told you once, how do you deal with your lower self? With compassion and understanding, you realize, of course you're screwed up. I screwed you up. I suppressed everything that ever bothered me. I complained forever about the tiniest things in the whole world. Of course you're a mess. I made you a mess. I shoved all this energy down and made you a mess. You look at it and you say, we're not going to do that anymore. And if something comes up and it seems really scary and you can't handle it, just before you can't handle it, just say to it, it's okay, your days are numbered. I would like you to talk to her that way. Because there's not a single thing going on in there that you can't handle if you decide to. Not right now, but just if you work with it, you'll find out that you're getting more and more back there, and that it's nice back there. That's what you're going to find out. It's nice back there. You're getting deeper to the source of your being. And as you go back there, stuff bigger happens. It's just natural life. It's not getting cursed. It's not a test or a trial. It's just because you have stuff's going to hit it. How you like that? Why does it seem like life's always hitting my stuff? Because you have stuff. If I hold up a 4x8 sheet of plywood because I don't like wind, why does the wind keep blowing at me? It never did this before. And it did. It just went by. You understand that? You let it go by. You let it go by to the best of your ability. And if you fall down and get up, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're playing your scales and you mess up, that's why you're playing the scales. There's no wrong. If you're doing your best, there's no wrong. There's just learning. There's just practicing. And you just keep letting go. No shame, no blame. And the next thing I'm telling you, at some point, and it doesn't matter how long it takes, you're going to find out, I really can handle things if I want to. And it's much nicer. It's much nicer not to get upset about everything. It's just hilarious. And so basically you work with that. And then I'm telling you, you're going to start to feel that behind, it's nice. It's nice in there. Then you find behind it's not just nice, it's ecstatic. It's really beautiful. There's something very beautiful back there. And it's you. But you get distracted and pulled down into your garbage. And so you learn to work your way out. You work your way out. And eventually, at some point, you'll be able to handle bigger and bigger things. And I'm telling you, but don't get scared. At some point, you will face that cherubim. You don't have to decide to, and it's none of your business. But you will let go enough to where it gets, what you do is when it's too big, you go back down. You will reach a point where you breathe, you let go, you realize it gets hot, something happens or something doesn't happen, it doesn't matter, it just comes up, and you feel it's hot in there. And you decide, I don't care. I want to know what's on the other side of that. I don't care. That's a great being. I want to see you when you reach that state. All right? I don't care. But look what people do for love. Look what people do for money. Look what they do to win an Olympic medal. 4 years, they kill themselves. And they get nothing. You just not now. Don't get scared. You will just get to a point where you will realize, I can handle this. And when you go to the other side, you'll never come back. No one will see it. It doesn't matter. It's called piercing the heart chakra. You will make it through to the other side, and there's ecstasy there. There's joy there. There's love there. There's light there. There's God there. And it is not worth trading it all for anything. And no matter what happens out there, you're okay. I've met people like that. It's very special. Isn't that special when you meet someone like this hurricane that happens, if it was on Fort Myers or wherever it was, had their whole house blown away, everything. And they were fine. They weren't crying and complaining. It was just, okay, we'll build it up again, whatever it takes. It's bad enough you have a problem outside, you don't have to have a problem inside. Wouldn't that be nice? I don't have to have a problem because there's a problem outside, do I? Not if you worked with yourself. You don't have to. And then if you get to the other side of that cherubim, It's a whole other life. It's called being transcendent. I am transcendent to these things. Ram Dass once said, it's like I'm standing on the bridge and there's turmoil in the water below me. And every once in a while a spray comes up and I can feel it. And my mind says, I used to live down there. I used to be in that. You don't want to be in that, do you? Work your way out. Work your way out. Don't be afraid, because we talked about some deep stuff. It will not come until you're ready for it. If you're working on yourself, you're helping the purpose of life. If you're fighting life to not bother you, you're literally working against the purpose of life. Imagine someone praying to God, God, please do every single thing that I never get to you. What kind of prayer is that? That's the prayer that says, please give me what I want and don't ever make me hurt and make everything be the way that I want and let me get what I want when I want it. And if something bothers me, take it away and don't let it happen. There, that's like saying, God, please don't let me get to you. Do everything that will keep me away from you. The great ones, they asked Ramakrishna, is there a prayer that's meaningful? He said, yes, there is. Give me the strength to let go of myself so every single moment of my life I can get closer to you. There, that's a nice prayer. Okay, thank you for listening. Jai Gurudev.